wanted to mention a couple of things about Mars moving into Capricorn. Moved into Capricorn on January 4th, and it'll be in Capricorn until the 12th of February. And Mars is going to be, or is an important player for the rest of the year, because Mars is the ruler of our North Node in Aries. Aries is the ruler of, Mars is the ruler of Aries. And the North Node is in Aries, and the North Node is the direction that we are moving into collectively to balance out the South Node energies in Libra. So the South Node is where we let go of unproductive energies, and in the sign of Libra, that can be codependence, relationships that we've been stuck in, or just feel like we've had this obligation to for convenience or financial reasons, or whatever the case may be. Could be relationships with a spouse, family even, jobs, employers, especially with Mars. Mars is the planet that severs and cuts and, just breaks away from, with all these planets moving into Capricorn. Capricorn is squaring these two placements, Aries and Libra. With our nodes there, the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra, the Capricorn placements so far, Pluto at 29 degrees, the Sun is around 17, maybe 15, actually 15 degrees at the moment, squaring Chiron in Aries, and Mars in Capricorn now at like 1 or 2 degrees, and soon to be Mercury. Mercury is finishing its time in Sagittarius, and it will be squaring Neptune one last time on the 8th or 9th of January, and then soon Venus will be entering Capricorn. And so with all these planets in Capricorn, we're going to have a lot of energies squaring the North and South nodes. So we're going to be at this kind of like crossroads point in our life where we have the option to try something new, be brave, courageous, do something that really aligns with us, and something that we have a passion for, something that motivates us and gets us up out of bed in the morning to do these things. Or, there is the option of doing what we have been doing, which is the Libra South Node. Being in relationships with certain entities that doesn't serve us anymore, that doesn't really light our fire, and we've probably been in these relationships or been tied up in these entanglements for long enough, but we just haven't had the courage to say something or do anything about it. So now that Mars and soon to be Mercury and soon to be Venus will move into Capricorn, squaring those energies, the North and South Node, we're going to be faced with decisions. And thus another Libra trait is indecision. So we're learning to let go of the tendency for overthinking, and like moving toward the Aries instinctive qualities of impulsiveness, and like really acting from the heart, and being the first, and like doing the things and going for it. And so Mars is a big player this year, and the nodes are already at 20 degrees, and it moves backwards in each sign. So from 20 degrees to 0 degrees Aries, we only have the rest of this year, and then come January 11th of 2025, the nodes shift, and the North Node will be in Pisces, and the South Node will be in Virgo. So we only have a year, before the nodes shift, before the ruler of our North Node is Mars, and then next year our ruler of our North Node will be Jupiter. And when that happens, oh my gosh, that's going to be that's when things really start to change. Like right now, with the Mars being our North Node ruler, Mars is all about energy and drive and going for it, and it can also be combativeness and war, and like I said, severing, cutting ties. And it's just kind of the nature of our evolution. It's not to be taken personally. It's just and it's easier said than done, for sure, but when we look at things from a perspective of being in alignment with our purpose, which is why astrology is so helpful and having the awareness of where your placement is in the grand scheme of things, and how these placements, these planetary placements in your chart, affect you and affect, the people in your lives, and how each person comes and goes. Like, people are in your life for a season, reason, or a lifetime, and it just is what it is. It's not to be taken personally. It's like plants and trees, and even animals. They fulfill their purpose, and we move on. Like, plants don't dwell on having like changed its colors. Like, what those are seasons that we go through, and we appreciate the changing of the colors. Like, why can't we just appreciate the changing of our evolution in one another? So yeah, we are of the earth, and so there's no reason why we can't remember where we came from. And that's essentially what we are doing right now, is because we've been so programmed to forget about ourselves, our true essence, and we're coming to realize that this programming that we've been subject to has put us in this kind of status that we've been in for the past, I don't know how many hundreds of years. More recently now, like with the introduction of like all this technology and things that take us away from our centeredness. Like, sure, entertainment can be very artistic and eye-opening, but there's always a balance to everything, right? There's the illusion of choice, but then like you're really having your energy pulled away from you when you're so like engrossed in whatever show or movie or whatever it might be. Like, is it really, you have to ask yourself, like, Saturn and Pisces is really asking us to be discerning with what we're taking in visually, like what you're listening to, because it affects your emotions. Like, which is your energy? And so, is your energy being used productively? Are you being emotionally enriched with whatever you're consuming, or is it bringing you down into this like negative spiral of fear and worry and doom and gloom? Like, you have to really be aware of how you're feeling. Like, take the time to pick up on what your heart is doing, and like, if your face is getting heated, like you're getting pissed off about something, then that's a sign. Like, whatever is happening at that moment is probably a negative energy, and you're in control of your own energy, so you have the choice to like remove yourself from that situation or transmute the energy if it's in a conversation, staying positive and trusting. And everybody always has choices in the way we respond, the choice of words that we use. And once we are aware of how that small choice of words can affect like the timeline, it'll shift the timeline. It's really the especially with Saturn and Pisces, and Saturn being the ruler of Capricorn, and all these planets moving into Capricorn. Saturn being in Pisces is kind of the one really in charge. Well, the ruler of Pisces is Jupiter, and Jupiter is in Taurus, and then Venus is the ruler of Taurus. Venus right now is in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter. Soon Venus will be in Capricorn, which is going to be, which again goes back to Saturn and Pisces. And so with Saturn and Pisces, we are really being asked to observe our intentions. Like, where are you coming from? Like, what is the point of the choices that you're making? Choice of words, every decision that is being made has to be taken with a lot of consideration, and making sure that the effect, like the next 5-10 steps after that, have a productive outcome, and like it's spiritually aligned. And Saturn in Pisces is also spiritual integrity, and which relates back to all the planets moving through Capricorn. Capricorn is all about integrity, and so there's a lot of reflection going on. Capricorn energy is the type to really want to make sure like things are in place, taking the time, being very aware of how we're spending our time and our energy. So yeah, let's see. So yeah, we only have another year of North Node in Aries, and so Mars is very important for the rest of the year. And with it moving into Capricorn, into an Earth sign, it's making a lot of great aspects to the Taurus Taurus placements, which are Jupiter and Uranus. And so there's going to be trines to Jupiter from Capricorn, which is very flowing, like productive, tangible energy. We can get a lot of work done, plan for the future, a lot of foundation building, and then Capricorn is sextiling Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, and so the sextile energy is like creative opportunities. Pisces is water and Capricorn is earth, so that melding of the two elements can create something really stable and beautiful. Water is also related to imagination and manifestation and unconditional love and trust and acceptance, and so really trusting the universe. And it's like when you put in your order, they call it the cosmic kitchen. I've heard it called the cosmic kitchen. I can't remember who said that. Who said that? Was it Dolores Cannon, or I don't know, like a few people have said that. You put in your order and you trust that, you know, the order that you placed will come out just in time, perfectly done, and it'll be exactly, you know, what you were expecting. And so that's kind of like the trust. The Pisces energies is like really trusting whatever comes out is meant to be. And with the Capricorn and Taurus energies, that's really tangible, like earthly achievements and like things that you can actually, you know, see on paper. Like you will find a beautiful new place to call home, and at a price that you can easily afford. You know, like those kind of manifestations can come true with this kind of aspect to Pisces. Mars is sextiling Saturn in a few days. I think it actually perfects on the 9th, I want to say, and then Mars will trine Jupiter in Taurus on the 11th. The following planets, Mercury and Venus, will do the same thing. Venus enters Capricorn on the 21st, so it's going to be right after the Sun and Pluto enter Aquarius, which is going to be huge. Oh, there's the new moon. The new moon is on the 11th, so that's going to be the new moon when the moon and the sun meet up at 20 degrees, and this is going to be like the start of like a reawakening. So, I mean, we had this with Venus last August when she became a morning star, and then in Leo, and Venus like representing, you know, feminine energy and self-worth, values. And when Venus came into Cazimi, like it met up with the sun, and then it became a morning star, and then soon after that we had a new moon in Leo. And so that span in August, like that month of August, pretty much marked a very like beautiful start to the feminine energies. It's kind of like a reborn, born again. It was like the rise of feminine energy when Venus became a morning star. And Venus, you know, is the ruler of the South Node in Libra. So there's a lot of relationships that came into light that we realized at that time which relationships were, you know, going to be released, because the South Node is in Libra, and the South Node is where we release energies. And we realized, you know, we need to make space for what is to come with us, like in the future. So Mars is going to be doing the same thing or similar. Mars is going to be a morning star, and soon after we will have a new moon in Capricorn. And so with this new, I guess you can call it like a new status that Mars is moving into, being a morning star, this is going to have a big effect on the rest of the year with Mars being the ruler of the North Node. And later in the year, or like the end of the year, in December, Mars will be retrograde. So at the end of the year, Mars will be retrograde in Leo, which is interesting because Venus was retrograde in Leo last year. So Leo being related to celebrities and authorities, royalty. It's also the energy of the heart, like, you know, like pure creativity. Also children. Something else I noticed about this week, the transits between the mutable signs, Sagittarius, Pisces, Gemini. Mercury and Neptune will be in their last square, last of three, finally, at 25 degrees. Mercury at 25 Sagittarius, and Neptune at 25 Pisces. But in Gemini, we have Vesta retrograde. And Vesta is an asteroid that represents home and hearth. And in the sign of Gemini, this can be the storyteller, someone who's really devoted to knowing all the facts and all the details and having that real thirst for knowledge and curiosity. Prince and Amy Winehouse, Nikola Tesla had Vesta in Gemini. So yeah, just I thought that was interesting. But yeah, the storyteller, I feel like these days are the like social media journalists who really dig and who are able to creatively retell the stories in their own, unique way. And with Vesta at 25 degrees going, like it's retrograde, so it's like it was in Cancer, and so it's gone back into Gemini in order to take care of some unfinished business. You can look at it that way. And it will be retrograde until February 7th. So I'd be, interested or curious to see what kind of news or stories are shared during that time. But yeah, the square to Neptune. So Vesta opposite Mercury are making a square to Neptune, and Neptune is fogginess, things that are uncertain, unclear, hidden. Another way to look at this is, those people who are devoted to finding the truth and telling the story can be really looking at what has been hidden. And this week, when Mercury and Neptune are square, the moon will also be in Sagittarius, so the moon and Mercury will be conjunct, and so people will probably be in the mood to communicate, gossip, tell stories. But we really have to kind of be aware of, again, like how our energy is being used when we consume these stories and like listen to people who have a lot to say, but not a lot to contribute, if that makes any sense. So it's, our energy is kind of fragile at the moment. Like, we really want to make sure that it's being used in a productive manner. So I don't know, I might take a social media break that weekend. Another thing that I noticed about Mars, like leaving Sagittarius and entering Capricorn, like Mars and Sagittarius seem to have this feel of like cultural divide, and especially as it's squared Neptune and Pisces, like not having all of the information or understanding the entire story. And so with Mars and Sagittarius, Mars, being the energy of combativeness in Sagittarius, which is like dogmatic, there were probably, and I think during that time, Mercury also being retrograde in Sagittarius, caused a lot of divide, like a lot of confusion and misunderstandings and, maybe cultural sensitivity. So with this Mars moving into Capricorn, I think it's kind of like a reflection of the history and traditions of cultures that we have been, that we learned about, but then are now realizing that we don't know the truth about. And so I feel like Mars in Capricorn is also like rejecting the history, the stories that we've been taught, and realizing that it doesn't make sense, and like it's probably really difficult to handle. Like there's more truth to these cultures than we realize, and being faced with the truth of that can be pretty heartbreaking. And I mean, again, it squares the nodes, and so are we going to go along with the story just to get along, or are we going to really stand up for what we believe, which is Aries, like being in alignment with what's truly in our heart. And so that's also something that I notice about Mars moving to Capricorn, like questioning history and traditions. And then this Mars is also squaring Chiron in Aries, and so that again speaks to being seen, being heard at 15 degrees. Chiron is at 15 degrees, which is related to Gemini, which is connected to communication. So being seen and heard, and, you know, like not taking traditions or the historic stories at face value. Like there's more to it than what we have been told. So yeah, there's a lot with this Mars and Capricorn. So it's a very energized placement, and we have until February 12th to really take advantage of these energies. It's all about drive and ambition and bravery and going after what we are aligned with. And just to also mention, there's going to be, it could be a pretty early energy with Mercury and Mars conjunct on the 27th. Like Mercury being communication and exchanges and commerce. Mars being the energy of combativeness. Like things could backfire, basically. You know, like it could be a heated exchange. So definitely watch your choice of words, and like if you don't want to get into it, I mean, that's going to be squaring the nodes as well. So whenever the nodes are squared, like those are really tests to see like where the timeline is going to shift. So do we want to, you know, play small? No, we don't. We want to move away from like the Libra tendencies to people please or getting along or going along to get along. So we have to really be firm with our decision, but also use, you know, choose the most diplomatic words to be able to get our point across in a very copacetic way. Like keep it copacetic. So I think that's all I had to say about Mars and Capricorn. The new moon will be on the 11th of January at 20 degrees. That's going to be a Scorpio degree. So there's going to this is going to be connected to a lot of transformation, death, and rebirth. Like making room for something new to grow. So really purging. 20 degrees in Capricorn. I mean, Capricorn being related to your business, your legacy, your reputation, like really shedding those parts of, you know, parts of your Capricorn area of your life to make room for something new and more sustainable. So, well, I hope that all made sense. And yeah, just great time with all these earth energies to put your feet in the grass. And yeah, I mean, like there's nothing wrong with having the solitude. Capricorn energy is very serious and solitude energy. Like it's kind of like the loners of the zodiac. So if you need to kind of, you know, put your phone on do not disturb for a longer period of time than usual, then yeah, nothing wrong with that. I actually just saw a post about putting your phone in airplane mode overnight when you're sleeping, when you're charging your phone, because the radiation that comes, you know, off your phone is so bad for you. But there's also EMF protectors that are out there to help transmute those harmful energies. Organite pyramids. I mean, that's another rabbit hole to get into if you want to look up Organite. All his work that he put into transmuting energy was sabotaged. So, yeah, that's another rabbit hole. Anyway, alright, well, thank you for listening, and yeah, all the best blessings, and we'll see you on the next one.